Be careful, think about the effect of what you say. Your words should be constructive, bring people together, not pull them apart. The conqueror writes history, they came, they conquered and they write. You don't expect the people who came to invade us to tell the truth about us. There are 3 things I was born with in this world, and there are 3 things I will have until the day I die: hope, determination, and song. Age is getting to know all the ways the world turns, so that if you cannot turn the world the way you want, you can at least get out of the way so you won't get run over. I will probably die singing. Africa has her mysteries, and even a wise man cannot understand them. But a wise man respects them. Girls are the future mothers of our society, and it is important that we focus on their well-being. I titled the album Reflections because I am reflecting on my music career. I'm not a politician, I am a singer. Long ago, they said, that one, she sings politics. I don't sing politics, I merely sing the truth. I look at an ant and I see myself, a native South African, endowed by nature with a strength much greater than my size, so I might cope with the weight of a racism that crushes my spirit. In the West, the past is like a dead animal. It is a carcass picked at by the flies that call themselves historians and biographers. But in my culture, the past lives. My people feel this way in part because death does not separate us from our ancestors. It is very much the theme of our president, President Thabo Mbeki, whose passion is for Africa to work together, and for Africans to get up and do things for us. We are trying as women to do things for ourselves. I see other black women imitate my style, which is no style at all, but just letting our hair be itself. They call it the Afro look. And why is our music called world music? I think people are being polite. What they want to say is that it's third world music. Like they used to call us underdeveloped countries, now it has changed to developing countries, it's much more polite. Everybody now admits that apartheid was wrong, and all I did was tell the people who wanted to know where I come from how we lived in South Africa. I just told the world the truth. And if my truth then becomes political, I can't do anything about that. African music, though very old, is always being rediscovered in the West. I look at a stream and I see myself, a native South African, flowing irresistibly over hard obstacles until they become smooth and, one day, disappear, flowing from an origin that has been forgotten toward an end that will never be. In the mind, in the heart, I was always home. I always imagined, really, going back home. It was hard to be away from home, but I am glad that I am home now. I have one thing in common with the emerging black nations of Africa. We both have voices, and we are discovering what we can do with them. You are damned and praised, or encouraged or discouraged by those who listen to you, and those who come to applaud you. And to me, those people are very important. And I believe that it becomes a troubled continent because there are those who must always cause confusion so that we do not keep these natural resources. That was the only time my mother saw me on stage. At one point in the play I am strangled and my mother jumped from her seat and screamed, "No! You will not get away with murder." "You cannot do this to my daughter." Well, there is a lot of work here for younger and older musicians now. Our Ministry of Culture has now really embarked on changing things for artists, and it is getting much better. We just have to organize ourselves as artists, and then things will be better. For instance, we're always fighting amongst each other. Who gives us the arms? And then we become indebted to wherever we are buying them from, with what? The very resources we need to keep there. Zenzal Miriam Makeba was born on the 4th of March 1932 to the 9th of November 2008 in the Black Township of Prospect, near Johannesburg, as the only child of her father and the sixth of her mother. Her Xhosa father, Caswell Makeba, was a teacher. He died when she was 6 years old. Her Swazi mother, Christina Makeba, was a domestic worker. She had previously separated from her first husband and met and married Caswell shortly afterwards. Miriam Makeba, nicknamed Mama Africa, was a South African singer, songwriter, actress, and civil rights activist. Associated with musical genres including Afropop, jazz, and world music, she was an advocate against apartheid and white minority government in South Africa. Her vocal talent had been recognized when she was a child, and she began singing professionally in the 1950s, with the Cuban Brothers, the Manhattan Brothers, and an all-woman group, the Skylarks, performing a mixture of jazz, traditional African melodies, and Western popular music. In 1959, Makeba had a brief role in the anti-apartheid film Come Back, Africa, which brought her international attention, and led to her performing in Venice, London, and New York City. In London, she met the American singer Harry Belafonte, who became a mentor and colleague. She moved to New York City, where she became immediately popular, and recorded her first solo album in 1960. Her attempt to return to South Africa that year for her mother's funeral was prevented by the country's government. Makeba's career flourished in the United States, and she released several albums and songs, her most popular being Pata Pata, 1967. Along with Belafonte, she received a Grammy Award for Best Folk Recording for their 1965 album An Evening with Belafonte Makeba. She testified against the South African government at the United Nations and became involved in the civil rights movement. Makeba was among the first African musicians to receive worldwide recognition. She brought African music to a Western audience, and popularized the world music and Afropop genres. Despite her cosmopolitan background, she was frequently viewed by Western audiences as an embodiment of Africa. She was also seen as a style icon in both South Africa and the West. Makeba made popular several songs critical of apartheid, and became a symbol of opposition to the system, particularly after her right to return was revoked. Upon her death, former South African President Nelson Mandela said that, "Her music inspired a powerful sense of hope in all of us."